We start to feel a heart pounding. Me too. I've done this many times. We all do this. You feel your heart pounding and fear bubbles to the surface and your brain starts saying, go back to where it's safe. Go back to where it's safe. And you start retreating. I say, don't retreat. Go forward. Go forward. Who cares if you get punched in the face? Right? Go forward. Eventually your face will get tougher.
There is something special inside you.
Welcome to GNG Podcast with your host, speaker, best-selling author, Chaz Jackson.
Yo, what's going on, kings and queens? It's your boy Chaz Jackson coming back to you once again, representing GNG, Gift and the Gift podcast. Hey, you know what our motto is. You are gifted differently to make a difference. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to dive deep into some inspiration that I pray will plant like a seed in your mind and continue to influence and empower you towards a greater version of yourselves. And you are gifted differently to make a difference. And do you know why? Because greatness made you, therefore greatness is within you. And here on Gift and the Gift podcast, our goal is to provide tips and techniques for young men as they strive to grow in personal development and leadership. And I have my guy, King Daniel Blanchard. He's back. He's back, family, on Gift and the Gift podcast. If you didn't check out Dan, previous podcast episode on Gift and the Gift, it is episode 21, where he lays some amazing value down. And once again, he's back on the show. Are you ready to get it, King Dan?
Absolutely, Chaz. It's great to be back on your show. Looking forward to spreading some great wisdom to your listeners.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And for those who don't know this amazing giant here, he's a best-selling author, award-winning author to be exact. He is a TEDx speaker, and I'm excited to dive deeper on how that came along and him to share some value on that end. Educator, TV host. My guy's doing some phenomenal things. And even before that, he's an amazing husband, father. He's a veteran, just spreading so much value to the world. And then I know I read off some short and sweet endeavors. Can you just recap or share with the audience what's been going on in 2023, some new things that's been surfaced that you're proud to announce?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Chaz. Great to be here, buddy. Love being on your show. You have such an amazing show with so much energy. Love it. 2023 has been, we're like, 6 months in or whatever we are. It's been pretty cool already. As some of you guys know out there might have seen me talk before, I'm a school teacher. I love that stuff. I go in every single day, freaking teach those kids, learn some good things, but I'm always learning myself too, which is very important. So as soon as school ended, I got a grant, and I headed out to Heart Mountain, Wyoming, where I got a chance to live among and study the Japanese American internment camps. Now, we're these,
pretty cool.
American, with these Americans that were imprisoned because of the fair, the war hysteria, the fair, and bad leadership, bad political leadership, turned them in those deserts, over the Rocky Mountains. And not only did they survive there in that crazy, rough terrain, but they actually thrived there. On top of that, as you had mentioned, Chaz, I'm an author. I'm writing my 38th book, and I've written in multiple genres.
That's
I'm really
nuts,
proud
man.
how I put out my memoir recently, and that's doing so well, but now for the first time, I'm writing a book on special education. And it's going to be called an educator's journey through the special education world. Haven't put one of those out yet. So I'm finally putting one out. I'm happy to be putting one out in special education, because that is a big thing of public education, and giving everybody a chance to succeed, and not only survive, but thrive in this world. And then on top of that, Chaz, you had just mentioned the TEDx talk. That was huge. I've been speaking on stages and doing interviews like this, for a bunch of years now. But when you get asked to do a TEDx talk, it kind of brings it to another level. You know, you walk in on that stage and you look at this huge theater with seats like way, way out in the top balcony, huge seats way, way out. And you look around and you just go, wow, like this is like the big time. This is good stuff here, man. And I'm going to come at it, you know, with a great message of like push and play and doing scary things, big scary things, because it actually feels better going through the motions and digging yourself a safe little rut. You know what I'm saying? So those are just some of the things that I've got going on. You know, I've always got something going on, but I'm always, you know, always going at it. But in a nutshell, those three recent things have been pretty cool, Chaz. Pretty proud of those three things.
Yeah, and I can tell it's something that you're super passionate about, excited about experiencing, and I want to unpack a couple of things that you've mentioned for sure. But at least that's out 38 books. Congratulations, man! That's amazing. That's a huge accomplishment, and the TEDx, and again, I want to unpack some of that stuff. But I'm just led. I really want to get your definition on this, Dan. What is your definition of success before we kind of dive into some other stuff? What's your definition?
Wow. You know, that's a great question, Chaz, because I think that definition is probably evolving as we go through life. You know, way, way back, like my first book, you know, was what I considered success. You know, now I consider that maybe a success for somebody else, you know, because I got 38 books. So if I only had one book right now, I wouldn't exactly consider that like success the same way today that I consider 38. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's constantly evolving. But I got to tell you, Chaz, as I do big things and I get to step up to the next big stage, whatever it may be, whether it's in the teaching world, the author world, the speaking world, or heck, maybe just the husband, father, daddy world, right? As I get to do bigger things, I get a better view of other bigger things. You know what I'm saying? So that becomes, you know, initially, that becomes probably the next level of success, is to always be making tiny improvements toward that next level of success. And I thought for the longest time that was probably the, you know, maybe greatest definition of all time of success. Now that I'm climbing that ladder and climbing that mountain and hitting these bigger milestones in my life, you know, I think about a universal thing of success. And gosh, I think it simplifies. I think it simplifies big time now.
Wow.
Look, here it is. I think this might help sum it up. I was out in Wyoming. I got a call from one of my former wrestlers, right? And I coached this kid to 2 state championships, 2 junior Olympians. I was his wrestling coach at the Junior Olympics also. And he called me up and he was like, Coach, I just watched your TEDx talk. And he goes, and I'm kicking myself. He goes, I was in the presence of greatness with you for those years when you were my wrestling coach. And I did not fully take advantage of it. Sometimes I just didn't listen.
That's powerful.
Didn't listen. And he goes, and I want to tell you right now, you know, that was a huge mistake. I'm kicking myself for when I had that opportunity to be in your presence. And I said, Pete, here's the deal, Pete. Listen, every day you get up and you put on your shirt and pants and shoes and you go to work and you come home and you provide for your wife and kids. And I go, and you had that great success in the past of wrestling. I go, but every single day, if you just be kind to your wife, kids, provide for them, and be kind to your wife and kids and neighbors and friends and peers, and just help when you have the opportunity, you're successful, Pete. You're successful. In my eyes, you're a real man if you do just that. Anything beyond that's gravy. You know what I'm saying? But if you do just that little simple thing, be kind, work hard, take care of your family, try to help and take care of your friends when you get the opportunity, you know, if it's possible, that's success, you know? And then at the same time, to do this, here it is. Like, you can't be drowning and then try to save a friend or a family member who's drowning. You got to know how to swim. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
you got to be
Hold on, wait,
little,
whoa. You got to say that again.
right?
Somebody missed that one.
Right?
Say that
Yeah,
again.
let me say that
That was
again. Let me
powerful.
say that again.
That was powerful.
Right? If you got a friend or family member who's drowning and you're drowning too, you can't save them. You have to know how to swim. So
Wow.
what does that mean? You have to do little teeny tiny increments of improvement daily. It doesn't have to be earth shattering because little things add up to big things. They compound over time. You know what I'm saying? It was like Anthony Robbins just to talk about this CANI, CANI, constant and never ending improvement, right? You just do that little stuff. And guess what? Now you eventually you know how to swim. You know how to take care of yourself. You're capable. You're able to take care of yourself and others. Why not? So you got to be doing that. Always got to be working on those small, tiny, compounding improvements on a daily basis. And it doesn't have to be big. Don't let the start stop you. Start small. Do something small. And before you know it, you'll be able to swim and you'll be able to help your family swim and your friends swim and your community, your neighbors, your society. You'll be able to help them swim also. You know what I'm saying? And that is absolutely success. Nobody can argue with that. You know, you don't have to go out and write 38 books. You don't have to give a TEDx talk and you don't have to win a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do those things to be successful. Just be a good man who's always improving themselves and making themselves capable and able and putting themselves in a position of helping others swim through this tumultuous world that we all are trying to survive and hopefully someday thrive in. Heck, if the Japanese Americans can do it, the Japanese Americans can do it during World War II. You know, I saw those barracks. I saw that root cellar that they built that was the size of a football field. Yeah, you look at it and you're like, how? How did they do this? By not complaining, by putting your head down and doing the work every single day. That's how they did it. That's how they survived. That's how they thrived. And that's what we can do. Just those little things. Do the work. Do those little things. Do the work. Survive. Make yourself a higher quality person. And you'll be helping others. You're just automatically help others. It will just come natural.
Man, that's so powerful. So powerful. Wow. Hey, whoever's listening to us right now, I'm hopefully you got a pen and paper ready to go. If you didn't pause it, rewind this bad boy back because Dan dropped some jewels there, and I love what you shared whenever you was having a conversation with your kid that you coached. Success starts in the household, with your family, with your wife, with your kids, with the people that's most closest to you, your friends, neighbors, etc., community. I love what John Maxwell says, and it kind of around the same thing that you're talking about, Dan, is success is when the people's closest to you respects you the most. Right. That's that true success. When those people are closest to you, what you're talking about, they respect you the most. That speaks volumes to me. And whoever's listening to us right now, I encourage you, share this out. Share this out over your social media platforms. There is someone that needs to hear about that. It's important to learn how to swim in a world that's drowning. The people around you that's drowning, someone that you can just speak life into, because I know that you are a light work if you listen to this right now. And there's someone that's potentially lost, someone that's drowning, and we can draw the line and plug in the situation, the circumstance that's going on, however the case may be. No judging coming from me right now, but it's just Dan is really speaking some gems, some life, and I believe someone needs to hear this. So please share this out. And Dan, I love the title to your TEDx, How to Live an Exciting Life. How to Live an Exciting Life. Phenomenal title, and what you shared on there was phenomenal as well, diving into your wrestling career and how that unpacked it. And I also love, and I want you to kind of dive into a little bit deeper on what inspired you to come up with the title in general. But how you were saying about the heartbeat, you know, it could be pounding out of your chest, but to continue to press play, and because it's going to be life changing. That was so powerful what you shared on your TEDx. Whoever's listening, go and listen to it. But talk about the inspiration behind it a little more deeper for the audience.
All right, cool. Let me just backtrack just a split for a little teeny bit. Let me piggyback on something I was just saying, and then I'll bring it to the TEDx talk, because that'd be like what I'm saying, like next level, like on steroids sort of thing. Okay. So we talked about learning how to swim, helping others, becoming more capable, changing yourself like small increments, a little bit at a time. Doesn't have to be huge, just a little bit at a time, compounds. Well, here's the thing. Most of us get stuck because I don't know what it is about the human nature, but the human nature is always telling you, you're no good. You're no good, especially if you've been born on the wrong side of the tracks. You know what I'm saying? Who do you think you are? You can't succeed to that level. You were born into a poor family. You were born on the wrong side of the tracks, right? Nobody in your family's ever done anything. You don't have the right education. Look at you. You're short. You know what I'm saying? The mind will come up with a million things to stall your progress, to stop you in your tracks. And here's one of the secrets you got to learn. You got to learn, all right? And then I'm going to take this to the next level about the TEDx talk. But you got to learn that you change best when you feel best. You have to feel good about yourself and fight those demons in order to feel good and do good. You have to feel good. You can't go in there with a little bit of depression, a little bit of a beat up attitude. It just won't work. You know what I'm saying? Why even bother learning to swim? Not like it's going to make a difference, right? No, you can't do that. So now what I say is that this world is a very rough place. And every single day, this world beats you up in so many different ways. This world beats you up and it drains your emotional bank account. And many of us, on a daily basis, are dealing with a empty or near empty emotional bank account. And then we think we're going to go out there and do good and feel good. Okay, we don't even know how to feel good right now to go do good because our emotional bank account is drained, right? So every single day when the world is draining our emotional bank account, we have to make deposits, positive deposits in our emotional bank account. And there's a lot of ways to do that. You can be reading great books. You can be listening to great podcasts like this one, Chaz, your podcast, right? You could be watching good movies, inspirational movies, funny movies, going to like my talk, TEDx talk. There's inspirational talks that make you feel good. You can call up old friends every single day. Reach out to an old buddy of yours, even if it's just a text. You know what I'm saying? But it's even better to call, right? That makes you feel good. And that's a deposit in your emotional bank account that will give you an excess of positive emotions there when the world's just sucking it out of you all day long, every day. You know what I'm saying? Don't let that emotional bank account go empty. So when you find a way to do that, you're making great strides forward in this world, right? And now because of my TEDx talk, right? My TEDx talk takes this to a whole nother level. Once you're not always going to feel good. There's no way you're always going to feel good. But if you can try to feel good at least some of the time, and if you're lucky, you feel good more than you feel bad because you got that emotional bank account going. Now let's take it to the next level, right? Look around and watch what everybody's doing, what you want to do. Your brain is going to automate your life into these habits where you conserve this energy. Your brain doesn't want to work too hard because who knows? Maybe the next famine's coming. No, it's not, right? That's our prehistoric lizard mind, right? It's not coming. The famine's not coming, but our brain's trying to conserve energy. It's trying to automate everything. It's trying to habit everything. And then what happens is you get stuck in these habits of like your current self. This is kind of where you're comfortable. It's like driving to work. It's like tying your shoes. You just kind of do it without thinking about it. Tying your shoes doesn't make your heart beat, right? Driving to work doesn't make your heart pound, right? Your brain's taking care of that. It's automated, all that stuff to preserve all your energy and calories because the famine's coming. It's not coming, people, right? So here it is. Look around. Notice you're doing this. Notice others are doing this. And as you're going through and just kind of going through the motions, playing it safe, feeling comfortable, right? What's going on? You're digging yourself a rut. And if you do more that rut may become a shallow grave. You don't want that. You don't want that. All right. You want to look around and say, what makes my heart beat? What makes my heart pound? All right. Is it going to be writing a book? Is it going to be going to some competition? Whatever it may be. Is it going to be joining the theater? You know, getting on stage to do a play? Is it going to be building a race car? You know, who knows? What is it that makes your heart beat? Okay. And then that right there, that's what's going to bring you alive. That's what's going to make you feel good and take you to the next level of your future self. And in the beginning, you're going to fail. You're going to fall down. You're going to get hurt. Like when I was wrestling, I always looked around. My freshman year, it started. I looked around and said, where's the captain of the team? That guy, that senior captain, is my wrestling partner, right? And he's going to beat me up. Every single day, he's going to beat me up, and it's going to be painful. And because it's painful emotionally, physically, psychologically, most people won't do it. They're going to go look for the 98-pound freshman to wrestle, right? They're going to go look for something simple that makes their current self feel good instead of challenging their future self, getting beat up and trying to speed themselves to their future self. Right? Because it's better to fail trying to be your future self right now, trying to become your future self right now, than it is to succeed in your current self where you're just automated, just going through the motions, playing it safe, just going through the motions, right? So I say, if your heart's beating, you're doing something right. Like I remember when I ran a marathon, right? And, you know, less than 1% of people run a marathon. But when I run a marathon, my heart was pounding. Did that mean I was less alive or more alive? Right? I was more alive, right? Because my heart was pounding, right? When I stepped up on that stage for the TEDx, my heart was pounding. Did that mean I was less alive or more alive? Right? I was more alive. But what happens is most of us, we start to feel a heart pounding. Me too. I've done this many times. We all do this. You feel your heart pounding and fear bubbles to the surface, and your brain starts saying, go back to where it's safe. Go back to where it's safe. And you start retreating. I say, don't retreat. Go forward. Go forward. Who cares if you get punched in the face? Right? Go forward. You know, eventually your face will get tougher. Right?
I like that. I love that. I love that. And
yeah.
So much value given there. So much value.
Yep.
And go ahead.
Now, I know you wanted me to talk about how I got the TEDx talk. You know, I was like, listen, people keep asking me how I got it. And here's the deal. I got a phone call. I picked up the phone call. She said, hi, is this Dan Blanchard? I said, yes. She goes, hi, this is Sarah Catano. I'm a TEDx event coordinator, organizer. Would you like to do a TEDx talk? I was like, who's this?
Boom.
What'd you say? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, I've been following you on social media for the last couple of years, been watching you. I like your style. You know, I like what you stand for, what you represent. And I think that the way you write and speak in that very casual, friendly, you know, speak your language sort of thing. She goes, I just like that. I would love to have you on our stage. And I was like, absolutely. So I'm telling my roommate, I go, it was really cool. I'm like, I guess I just got to cut the line. And my old college roommate, Army buddy, who I hadn't seen in over 20 years, I'm in the Denver airport eating dinner with him and his wife. They both look at me and they go, Dad, you didn't cut the line. You've been doing this stuff for years. And he goes, you put in the work up front without getting paid for that, without getting asked for a TEDx talk up front. You put in the work up front with no promises. And then later on, some cool things happen, and it just looks like you're cutting the line, but you're not cutting the line. You know what I'm saying? You put in the work up front. So I would like to tell everybody, listen, I wish I had an easy, simple answer to tell you how to get a TEDx talk. And I actually might have one now that I'm thinking about it. But basically, the deal is you got to put in the work up front so that, and I've always said this, people say, oh my gosh, you're so lucky. I go, no. You change your definition of luck. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. I've been preparing for years for this opportunity for this woman, Sarah, to say, I need a TEDx speaker. Who can I reach out to? Oh, how about this guy, Dan? He seems like he's really prepared for this opportunity, which I was really prepared for that opportunity, right? So that's the secret. Exactly. You got to do all that work so you can create your own luck. So you're preparing up front with no promises for an opportunity that may never come. But guess what? Some opportunities come from somewhere. Some kind of opportunity is coming from somewhere someday if you're prepared and done the work up front. So now here's my quick 2 little tips that I learned after the fact. One, there's obviously a website that you can go on, TEDx Speaking. You can find out where the future events are. You can apply to them, okay? Chance of getting picked, very, very slim, right? 1B, you can reach out to people that have done it before and ask them how they got it. There's actually people out there who have like training programs, right? But now this is an investment. So you have time and money, but there's training programs out there that will improve your chances. Doesn't mean you're totally getting it. And I've talked to a few of those people who've gone through that, and they said it took them 2 years of working their butts out, preparing themselves under the tutelage and the coaching of a trained professional TEDx speaker. And it still took them 2 years to get it. You know what I'm saying? But if you are willing to do the work, prepare yourself so you can create that opportunity of luck later, it definitely could happen. Now, this is the shortcut that somebody mentioned to me that kind of makes sense to me. And I think I'm going to try this for a future TED Talk, because if I might as well do a second one at some point, right? Yeah. So I go, someone told me. So I was just like, man, I wish I knew that 2 years ago. But I just found out, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I've already done my TEDx talk, but I think this might help me for my second one. Find out a TEDx talk that's coming up in like a year. Find out a TEDx talk that has like a history of kind of repeating itself, like a yearly, or at least 18 months, right? Of repeating itself. That's kind of close to home, all right? And then reach out to them. Let's just say this is happening 6 months from now, right? Reach out to them and say, I, for free, will volunteer my services to help you do whatever you need to put on a successful TEDx event. All right? Email people, call people, whatever. I'll show up the day of the event, help people find their seats. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't have to be anything big, could be something tiny. But what that does, Chaz, and your audience, what that does is that creates the beginning of some kind of relationship.
Wow, I like that.
Whereas later on, let's say a year later, they're running another event. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you fill out an application that time, and instead of your application being buried under 2,000 other applications, maybe your application's near the top of the pile for them to look at because they recognize your name. They know who you are. Oh, you were the nice guy or gal that helped them out last year, you know, with the event. So I wish I knew that years ago. Didn't know that. I haven't done that yet. So I'm not 100% sure that will work, you know, and land you a TEDx talk. I imagine you're still
amazing. It's amazing, Jim, though, for whoever's listening.
Yeah, but I'm going to try that. And I'm hoping within the next couple years, again, we're not talking a couple months, but within the next couple of years, when people have kind of maybe forgotten about my first TEDx, right? Maybe it'd be time to do a second TEDx talk. I think that might work. So I think that's a gem for your audience and for anybody else that's listening. Again, build that relationship, but simultaneously, remember, you've got to learn how to swim so that you can be in a position to do it.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that value. And whoever's listening right now, can you share your contact information? How can we get in front of the 38 books? How can we get in front of, you know, some of the things that you are accomplishing in the past and in the present and in the future, and how can we reach out to you, Dan? Share with the audience.
Oh, God. I'm everywhere. Just Google Dan Blanchard author, Dan Blanchard speaker. I'm on pretty much all the social medias. Look up Dan Blanchard, Daniel Blanchard, whatever. You'll find me everywhere. I got a website, granddaddysecrets.com. But I said, if you have any trouble, fine, just Google me. I'll come up. I'm on Amazon. I got all those books on Amazon. I'm all over the place. So you'll have no trouble finding me. Trust me. Just Google Dan Blanchard, author, speaker, and I will come up. Granddaddy Secrets, I will come up. No doubt about it. TEDx Talk, Dan Blanchard, TEDx Talk, I will come up. Just go on YouTube, right? I'll come up. YouTube, Facebook, you name it, LinkedIn. Put my name in, I'll come up.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for just chopping it up with us for a little bit, Dan, and just sharing your value, your insight. Definitely a treat getting in conversation with you. And I know the GNG audience, family, you're a part of that family, definitely enjoyed this conversation. And we would like to know what application point you're going to take and attempt to implement in your daily life as you take that daily challenge of becoming a passionate visionary who is determined to leave a legacy for yourself and others. So again, thank you so much, Dan, and definitely looking forward to that next book coming out and all the amazing things that you have coming forward for the rest of 2023 and beyond, sir.
Thank you, Chaz. It's always a lot of fun to be on your show. We always talk about some really cool things that matter and are impactful. Go become your future self. Work toward it starting today.
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody. I told you it's going to be an amazing episode. Definitely, again, share this out to some amazing people that you know that can get in front of this amazing episode with Dan Blanchard as he laid out so much value to help inspire and influence and impact your life so that you can go out and make disciples who make disciples and help people grow towards their dreams and goals. But I want you to stay up with GNG. More episodes coming soon. As always, I want you to keep that crown on your heart. Always remember that. And keep this in mind. We are God's echo. Continue to impact and influence, family. God bless you. Peace.
Thank you for listening to GNG Podcast. Remember, you are gifted differently to make a difference. Please visit ChazJacksonSpeaks.org and let's continue to grow together. God bless.